The tabletop takeaway.
Game mechanics on display.
Three designers share the stage.
Pick a genre and we'll play.
The tabletop takeaway.
Welcome back to the Tabletop Takeaway. I'm Charlie McCarran.
I'm Trevor Muller-Hagel.
I'm Ananda Gunratna.
And welcome to our 99th episode. Yeah, we've been doing this for now 2 years. A little hard to believe.
Yeah, wow.
And there's been many times when we're like, are we going to make it this week?
Yeah, we're going to have to take a break, right?
Yeah.
And we even record things to like, okay, well, we're announcing a break at the end of this episode if we can't get this recorded by this day. And
Yes.
somehow
it always works. Even through tax season for Trevor
Yep.
and all of our
Travels,
travels around the
convention
world.
season.
Stuff.
Yeah.
But thank you all for listening for this whole amount of time.
Yeah.
And we thought for this episode, we would once again poll our listeners with different questions. We did that in a listener Q&A episode a little while back, which was fun. And so we thought for episode 99, we'd ask you, what are your takeaways from the show? The takeaways.
Takeaways. We did target specifically our Discord and Facebook groups. So if you're not on those, definitely hop on board so you can be involved in those in the future because they're a fun time and a good place to hang out. Mm-hmm. Yeah, we just have a good group of folks in there.
Oh, yeah. And so we don't have a ton of listener takeaways. Maybe if we do this again, you'll be on the Discord and then you'll know about it. So let's start it off with Thomas H. He picked the episode number 32, Storytelling.
Oh.
So
That was a good series.
yeah, that was a fun series. We did Once Upon a Time, Wing It, and In This World.
Yeah, which obviously in this world you've heard already a couple times on this podcast. So like, yeah.
And so for Thomas, he says, the storytelling genre episode introduces the idea that a narrative game can provide anchor concepts for a story that must be included, such as the cards in Once Upon a Time, while still leaving room for the players to fill in the story around the anchors. This left me thinking, leaving flexibility for player interpretation is really cool. How can it be applied to other games or other genres?
Yeah.
Yeah.
For example, Joe Kell's game, Don't Get Duped, episode number 33. Good job, Thomas. You're so many references. Joe's game requires players to pick a quantifiable feature of a playing card, but leaves it up to a player interpretation to pick a feature, aka number of curves on the card.
Yeah.
So my takeaway is the rule set of a game does not need to quantify all aspects of a game. Player interpretation is a powerful tool to allow players to feel creative. I'd love to see more of this concept in a semi-co-op or over-the-table talk game.
Oh, sure.
Yeah. Well, that's a really good point. That you don't necessarily always need to have everything strictly codified in rules.
Right.
I can think off the top of my head of two genres of game where it's relatively common, or at least where I've seen interpretation. So one of them is logical induction games.
Oh, sure.
If you remember Visitor in Blackwood Grove, there is quite a bit of interpretation in applying the rule.
Yep.
Like, okay, it's something that is really expensive. Well, okay, what is expensive, right? Like if you chuck a car at the force field, is that expensive? Maybe.
Or is it a house or a planet?
Yeah.
Is the planet expensive?
Is it planet expensive? So there can be a lot of interpretation in induction games. And I think that's a good thing because that lets you create really cool hidden rules that you wouldn't otherwise be able to.
Sure.
The other place where interpretation can be really great is in social deduction games, especially if you think about Blood in the Clock Tower.
Yeah, that's very true.
There are a bunch of roles that lean heavily on interpretation. Like, for example, the High Priestess role, Their ability is each night they learn who the storyteller thinks they should talk to. The general role each night learns who the storyteller thinks is winning, which team that is.
Oh.
And the I think there's a more recent role. I think it's called the Wizard, which is a minion that gets to make a wish, and then the GM interprets their wish.
Whoa.
So it all has to, in that case, has to do with the storyteller being able to bend the rules of the game a little bit, right? Or
Bend the framework, maybe.
I mean, these ones are not even so much bending the rules, but it's more it's asking the storyteller for their opinion.
Yeah.
And I guess in the case of the wish, it is up to the storyteller to interpret the wish. But like with the high priestess and the general, it's just, storyteller, what's your opinion about the state of this game?
yeah. I feel like we've gotten into that a little bit, maybe with our, the word association games too, where it's like you're trying to guess what the other person's thinking about.
Yeah.
Well, and I was thinking games like Dixit as well are going to be like, because you can do like sounds, you can do words, you can do like whatever it is, just to like get whatever you're doing across, but not too well. So you're like trying to find that middle ground.
Though I think one slight distinction with those games is that it is, the words that you're using to associate are up to interpretation, but the result is quite strictly defined.
Right, that's true.
It's like, okay, so maybe you made a bad association, but that just means your team failed to guess. Whereas especially in logical induction games, you might be making an actual decision about the validity of a move.
Sure.
So that's where I guess it gets fuzzier.
Yeah. So having a fuzzy result versus a like finite concrete result.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think the important thing is that it's okay to have fuzzy results in games.
And it does depend on the game a little bit. Like if you're playing a very like high strategy game, it needs to be pretty concrete. Like I do this will happen. Mm-hmm. But like in more abstract games, especially around storytelling, having that soft fuzz is like really nice for creating a good story.
Yeah. Mm-hmm. It definitely makes the game feel more I guess organic. What it is, it's something that a computer game generally is not, it can't do unless until they start putting AIs in all the computer games. But like computer games, very strictly defined rules. Only in in-person game with people to interpret things can you have these fuzzy categories that give you a lot more freedom in what you can do.
Right. Yeah, because like Blackwood Grove, you'd have to have every card would have to have every stat of every option you would choose. And it's like, that's ridiculous. We don't want to have that. We want to have the social experience of like, it's round or, we're going for round. It's like, okay, is this round? You're trying to figure out like, what is the thing? Yeah. Like that's just much more interesting when it's open for interpretation for sure.
Yeah.
That sort of reminds me of the game Mountains of Madness. That's a game where it's like a co-op game. The rules themselves is just you're trying to go up this mountain. Your goal is to like uncover things, and everyone plays the right amount of cards to succeed at a task, that kind of thing.
Oh, okay.
But the reason it's fun and funny is because you start to get madness cards, and they start to do weird things. Like now I have to start like clucking like a chicken or something, or one person has to like run around the table constantly.
Oh my God.
Someone has to like sit on the floor. And it's these kind of fuzzy rules that's like, I'm sitting on the floor, I can't see the table anymore, I guess. And sometimes you get, you will definitely have more than one of those in the game.
You're clucking like a chicken sitting on the floor
Yeah.
while running around the table. Oh, no.
Yeah. It's very silly, but just like made me think of that because of all the things that's like, how do I even do these two things at the same time? I got to use my own judgment. And
Sure.
Yeah. All right, let's move on to the next listener takeaway. This one is from Verino, and they say they've listened to every episode. So that's cool.
Great.
We've heard that from a few people, and very honored that you've listened to us for all this.
Almost 100 times.
Yep. Yep. Well, more than that. If they
Oh, that's
listen
true.
to the RPG
All the RPG
episodes, which are truly bonus episodes.
the bonus episodes.
So their takeaway is you do not have to be a published designer to have deep appreciation for the craft or to have insightful commentary and nuanced views. Keep up the great work, guys. You are an inspiration.
Oh,
I'll take that as something to me because I'm the only unpublished designer speaking here. But yeah, it's true. Like, and I've actually met quite a few people who have really good, solid feedback for prototypes, and they've never finished a design, but they have a lot of really good thoughts and insight. And like, being published means that you've found the right publisher for the game that you have gotten the furthest along, and that's honestly almost as hard as designing the game itself. Sometimes
it's also, I mean, a lot of it is luck.
a lot of it is
too.
luck.
A lot of it's luck.
Knowing the right people.
Luck and knowing
Yeah.
people.
Yep. Honestly, like
Just like the
making
movie
connections.
industry.
Yeah. I mean, I will say, like, I got good at that kind of networking from my film music world, and like I kind of learned, like, oh, you have to show up to a lot of things, conventions and
Design days.
Design days. Yep. Obviously, like, your game has to be decent enough for someone to want to publish it.
Right.
But it is a lot about making connections to actually get them
And
published.
they have to want to make a game with you as part
Yeah.
of the thing too, right? Like
Yep.
you want to make sure that, you know, you're good at collaborating and good at communicating, so that someone like, oh, you made this game and you seem like a decent person. I would love to like help you bring this to market, and then we can both make money off it. That sounds great.
Yeah.
Like, yeah,
I mean, I've heard of the opposite from publishers who are like, they find out that the designer is too particular about things, doesn't want to change anything. I've been there, and some of my games, like when I started out, for sure, I
Yeah.
didn't want to make changes, or
that baby game, it's hard. Like you don't want to give up anything
Yep.
for that game. Yeah,
yeah. And ideally, you find a publisher sort of at your level at the beginning,
Sure.
so that you can learn from each other and work on it together. Like, I know at the beginning I had aspirations of like, wow, this game, why don't I shoot for the moon and try to pitch it to the biggest company out there?
Yep.
And you could do that, but chances are low. And also, I think it's actually maybe more fun experience if you can work with a small publisher,
Yeah.
because you'll have more say in the game and you'll learn a lot more, probably. So
It's true. It's true.
Yeah.
From what I understand.
But yeah, publishing is not the be and all and end all of, like, if you're getting your games out there, you could put them out through the Game Crafter too, just on your own, and yeah.
Well, and honestly, you can also just make games. And like, that's something I kind of learned when I started design days at the 2D Con 3 years ago, was sometimes game design can just be the thing. Doing game jams, just exploring and like stretching your mind and trying to figure out solutions to problems. Like, that game that you make doesn't have to be published. It can just be a really fun time that you had making it, and then you can shelve it and feel completed still, even though it's not complete. And that can be a hard thing for a lot of people, because like there's a lot of outward pressure from folks, like, oh, are you going to kickstart it? Especially when folks don't know anything about the board game market. I've had several people in my family through the years like, oh, you should publish this game. I'm like, this game's nowhere near ready.
Yeah. I mean, there's something to just the joy of creating something. And
Yeah.
I have this a lot with music too, where it's like the most fun part is making it.
Right.
And then I release it and I'm like, okay, it's out there. I don't really feel like doing much more with it other than appreciating that it's out there.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, that makes me think I should never be a publisher myself, because I just enjoy making the game.
Yeah.
I don't need to be the one marketing and shipping.
And doing logistics.
I definitely do not want to be a publisher.
Yep. So, moving on to the next takeaway is actually going to be an audio takeaway, because we gave people the option to send in their audio. So this is from Jonah K. And we're going to listen to what Jonah had to say.
So I was listening to the word association series, and I remember you guys comparing how in So Clover and Codenames, the fun that players are having is talking about what the other people might be thinking and trying to read their minds and having these fun discussions. Whereas in Just One, you don't really get to have that kind of interaction, even though it's still an awesome game. And that really inspired me in some of the work I was doing. I was working on a few different word association game concepts, and I really decided to prioritize the ones that had that sort of discussion and debate, because that was such a compelling type of fun. And I think even more broadly, I've used that takeaway as I continue designing even other genres of games, where I'm really thinking about how are the players interacting with each other and what type of fun is that producing, and is that the type of fun that I'm interested in creating. And that's really helped me in filtering which game concepts to pursue, and also how to structure interaction in the games I'm designing.
All right. Thanks, Jonah. I guess we probably could have tied that into the first takeaway.
Yeah,
we were talking
word
about,
association games.
Yeah. Well, so that's a good point. I think specifically with listening to other people talk about what they're thinking.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, monologuing kind of.
Yeah. Well, even just as a designer, when you're watching people play test your game, it is super satisfying to hear them go through their thought process.
Yes.
Like that is actually my favorite thing about playtesting is when people explain, their thinking,
right,
why they're doing what they're doing.
Because try as we might, we're not actually mind readers, and we want to provide the framework, right, for having that ability to have these thoughts, but you don't know what the other person's thinking until they say it. And we talked about this when I play tested, I think, Junkernauts. You really wanted me to say what I was thinking. And so I started actually verbalizing it a lot more. I'm like, wow, this actually also helps me work through what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter that, you're hearing me talk about it because you're the designer. Maybe if it was just, an actual board game I'm playing, I'm not going to tell the other person what I'm thinking. Yeah. Because that would give away things. But you being able to understand what I'm thinking really helps narrow in the design and help with that decision space.
Yeah. But also more broadly, there is a sort of vicarious thrill to... So in games, the first time you discover a strategy or something important about the game, it's a real thrill, right?
Oh, yeah.
It feels really cool, like, oh, I understand now. I should be doing such and such. And you can't revisit that yourself because you've already discovered it.
Right.
But when you see someone else discover it, there is actually a similar thrill there.
Yeah.
Sort of you're
empathic.
Yeah, you're excited for their discovery.
Oh yeah, that's so awesome.
Yeah. And something you made worked and gave joy to somebody.
Oh,
that's
man.
really fun.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I honestly, that has been the best part of designing Archmagus for me so far. Is just seeing people click on how the spells work and how everything works together, and just get really excited about oh, now I can do this. It works like that. I'm like, yeah, it does. Oh my god! I was like, yeah. I still get a thrill from people learning that a year or two in whatever I'm in for this design. Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's a fun time.
I think when Ananda's playtesting games, you go on to another level. Usually there's. If the game's okay, but maybe not great.
In terms of excitement?
In terms of excitement level. But Ananda kicks it up from
and now I can do this? Yeah.
To fourth gear sometimes, which is great. I love it. Yeah. That's a sign, okay, all right, this game's working. Ananda
found excitement. That's good to know.
Yes. Yeah. It's awesome.
But you'll still be critical of it too if there were points that didn't quite work out, which is great. You're not just pure positivity.
Oh yeah.
Which you really need in playtesters is to make sure that you have a path forward, because everything doesn't work perfectly. Yeah, you know that because no game works perfectly.
Okay. On to our next takeaway. Ylva says, not a specific episode, but general takeaway. Hi, I think all your episodes have a lot of value. I've re-listened to several of them, and each time I find new things that catch my attention and make my head spin with new ideas. I think it's awesome how you cover so many different genres with great depth into different aspects of it in an easy-to-understand language. You've made me excited about playing games again after a few tough years where I've not been able to do so. Thank you. I hope that was one paragraph. Have a good day.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And honestly, I understand that all too well. Like when I was getting my degree in accounting, I barely played any games. I started design days during that time. I didn't have time to design myself, but I needed to be around it again. And honestly, just having a group of people working on games was huge for me at that time. So yeah, then also I've been listening back on the podcast in preparation for episode 100. And yeah, I started having new ideas when I was listening. I'm like, wow, this is great. And, not to, toot our own horn, but like, it is nice just hearing people talk about games that exist that you can go explore and like go like play yourself and see what they're talking about. And like, yeah.
Yeah. I also find that when I go back and re-listen to episodes, sometimes I remember things we talked about. I'm like, oh yeah, I should do that in a game.
And how many times have we talked about a game we're going to design now in this podcast, and then we just forget about it because we have so many other games we're doing.
Yep. Actually, this reminded me that I forgot to say there was a little bit of Jonah's takeaway that he said he forgot to include in the recorded takeaway, which relates. He says,
"Oh, good to know."
My general takeaway is that it's super valuable as a game designer to play a lot of published games.
Yeah.
Yes.
I have started going to a local board game group, separate from the local design group, to play as many games as I can. And yeah, I think for me, I'll say I have a regular, every Tuesday get together with friends, and it's been going on for like 15 years now.
Holy
or
cow.
maybe longer for everybody. But
I haven't lived here for 15 years.
yeah, I'll say like that. I owe a lot of my passion about games and like the early designing from that, because like they buy every new game and I just get to leech off
hardcore fans.
Yes,
yeah,
the fans and people who want to learn all the games. Like find a group like that and just make it regular.
Yeah.
I will also say that not only does it help a lot to play published games, but it also helps a lot to play lots of prototypes from other game designers.
Yep.
Yeah, definitely.
Because it helps you see things that you may not have thought of and maybe potential fixes to those things. And everyone's unique perspective can help bring something better to light.
Yeah.
And like, play testing and actual playing are both valuable. Mm-hmm. But I wouldn't say like you should do one or the other. I think you should do both if you can. Because, they provide different experiences.
Mm-hmm. All right. We have a takeaway from Wario, apparently. Jorio?
Jorio?
Maybe. All episodes. And his takeaway from the show is that there's a lot to learn from most published games you play when viewed through a designer's perspective. The takeaway
Thank
from
you,
the
Wario.
show.
Thank you, Wario.
Thank you, Wario.
I hope Mario isn't giving you any grief.
No. We have one more takeaway, actually.
Oh.
I thought we were done, but Trevor Muller-Hagel says... this was when we were testing the form out.
I forgot what I said.
I love games. They're neat.
That is a big takeaway I've gotten from this podcast.
Best takeaway from the show.
Yep, I love games. They're neat.
Yep.
Yeah.
So that wraps up our takeaways. But listen to the next episode 100. We are going to be giving our top 10 takeaways each.
Yes, it'll be shorter than 30 mentions because we overlap, because we did not communicate about this.
Yeah.
So it will not be 3 hours long.
Yeah,
but
we'll see how that turns out. And, one other announcement I want to make. I have some pretty big news this week. I started a new job at Asmodee.
Woo! Oh, sorry.
Yeah. So Asmodee is located right near us in Roseville, Minnesota.
Yep.
Asmodee North America. And I'm now the game design manager for Office Dog games, Z-Man games, and Unexpected games, which is kind of crazy to me.
3 different studios.
Yeah. They're all under this this one studio kind of, but
sure.
they have their different brands. So
Yeah.
like obviously Z-Man has been around for so long.
Yeah.
And they have all sorts of games, especially Pandemic and Love Letter, and so a lot of the Z-Man is doing expansions for those games. And Office Dog is kind of newer, and they've been working on games like the Lord of the Rings, Fellowship of the Ring trick-taking game, and lots of fun ones that I know about now that are going to be coming out.
Is it River of Gold is another...
River of Gold just came out, yep.
Yep.
Z-Man just had Fate of the Fellowship is the Lord of the Rings Pandemic.
Oh, yep.
That one's doing real well. So it's a fun group to be like hopping in on when they're like seeing some big successes.
Yeah.
But just wanted to mention that. This is not me as an Asthma Day representative now on the podcast. I'm still just Charlie for this show.
Yep.
But
And we will not be changing our distribution of games.
Nope.
It'll just be the same old, same old.
Oh,
we
yeah.
don't get paid for any of this. We don't get there's
Yep.
no conflict of interest or anything like that. So
no.
Yeah. Sorry.
Disclaimer.
As an accountant, I feel like I have to say that.
Yeah. No. We are just purely volunteer podcast, which is fun.
Yeah.
Well, 99 episodes down, you guys.
100 more to go. Oh, wait.
Yeah. Well, maybe
More.
more.
Who knows? 30
So-
years from now.
Yeah.
Oh, God.
Whoa, don't think about that.
Existential
That means
crisis. Oh, God.
30 years from now, I'll be 68.
I'll be
69, sorry.
I'll be
How old am I?
67.
Yeah, 39. Yep. Cool. All right. Join us for episode 100.
Hey, thanks for listening to The Tabletop Takeaway. This podcast is made possible by listeners like you. So please tell your friends and visit our website at thetabletoptakeaway.com, where you can suggest games and mechanics for us to cover next on the show.